All right, we good. We live. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem
How was I
Akakodash.
with Dash?
Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. As you can see, we're doing a part two or a continuation to the video from yesterday. All right, concerning these prophecies and how they're taking place. All right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, letting us know that we are in the very last second of the last days. All right, and that's why you see all these protests and so on and so forth going on, literally as the Lord told Ezra around the world. Okay, and that's we have this article here. All right, going into it, and so yeah, if you want to add on anything before I start the article.
Khan. Yeah. So just to add on, he's going to go into the article yesterday, and here it is. Less like 24 hours later, less than 24 hours, you got even more prophecy coming on. So hey,
Mhm.
the Lord is doing things, man. As the scripture says that every day his judgment goes out. Every morning his judgment goes out. So hey, this is a beautiful time to be in this truth. He said we just go right into the prophecies, man, because that's what it's all about in these days.
That's right. That's right. And the Lord's moving quick with it too. Um,
Khan.
so I'm gonna read it. It says, "World in flames. Why are protests raging around the globe? Protests and demonstrations have rocked every corner of the world in recent days, with tax hikes, corruption, and supposed environmental injustice all raising public anger. But why have they spread? Watching the news over the last week, one would be convinced that the world has devolved into a series of flashpoints with corrupt governments across the political spectrum facing the wrath of their enraged citizens. To be fair, that's not far from the truth, because that is the truth." It says,
Exactly. A- And it said in that part right there, it said, "Why have they spread?" The to the cardinal eye, people are just looking at it as, hey, this is just something that's happening and it'll just blow over. But really, this is the spirit of the Lord, because remember, the Lord said that He was going to visit the earth in which He made in Second Ezra, the ninth chapter. So
mhm,
the Lord is actually putting these spirits out here. The spirits on people to be roused up, because this is one of the signs that the Lord is visiting this place, and also that this current age is about to come to an end. So
mhm.
that's why it's really happening, man, and that's why the Lord got the prophets out here to dissect and go through these articles and these current events to bring the wisdom, the spiritual wisdom, to what's going on right now.
That's right. That's right. And scriptures say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
Yep.
And not
Uh,
only stable to us, but to those that listen to us, because that's where they get it.
yep.
So
That's right.
continuing, it says, four continents have seen anti-government demonstrations over the last week, many of
Mm.
them sparked by seemingly innocuous taxes or changes to the law. In Lebanon, protesters have set Beirut ablaze in response to a proposed fee of 20 cents per day on internet voice calls, dubbed the WhatsApp tax. So you have Lebanon, number one. It says Chileans set metro stations on fire following a $1.17 increase in public transport fares. That's number two, Chile. And the streets of Ecuador are filled with rubble after a planned removal of fuel subsidies triggered mass unrest. Number three, Ecuador. It
God.
says it says elsewhere, perennial corruption has the West African nation of Liberia in a state of
Mm.
near constant protest. Number four, Liberia. A change to presidential terms limits in Guinea caused deadly riots. Number five, Guinea. Mexicans are demonstrating against corruption and drug cartel violence. Number six, Mexico. And masked rioters in Hong Kong are still rallying against their government. Number seven, Hong Kong. Months after the withdrawal of the Chinese extradition bill that sparked their anger. So we had number seven, Hong Kong, but it says they're rioting even months after the bill was withdrawn.
Mm.
So the thing that caused the rioting, now they took it away. But see, the Lord just used that to spark the spirit within them. So that
Yep.
spirit of uproar is still within them. You know.
Con. Hey, not to mention, did they mention Barcelona,
Oh, I was gonna go into it.
Catalan? So they don't even talk about Venezuela no more. You know, Venezuela's been basically like
Mm-hmm.
a media news blackout because they still fucked up over there too.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So going on. So we had number 7. It says Europe, meanwhile, has seen a general strike and mass marches in Barcelona, like you just said.
Mm,
Number 8, following the jailing of Catalonian independence leaders on Monday. Dutch farmers have also shut down the country's motorways after the government introduced new emission regulations. Number 9, Dutch.
Dutch.
It says, and in France, number 10, already rocked by almost a year of yellow
Mm,
vest demonstrations. Thousands of firefighters have marched for more funding and better working conditions. And it seems like it literally just started, that we just read articles on France and their yellow vest protests and how it sparked up. And already it's about to be a year.
yep. Hey, and it's been a year of nonstop too. You
Mm-hmm.
know, see, it's not like just a certain protest. For like a couple days, like how Jake was doing with the whole shit with Mike Brown and
Mm-hmm.
Trayvon Martin. Nah, like the Lord got these things happening all over the world to where this is a constant thing. Like this is the new reality or the new norm for them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know if it goes. I don't know if this article goes into it, but they said something about the Netherlands or Germany or German farmers. They're going out on the streets with their tractors.
Mm,
I want to say it was Netherlands and Germany. They're going out in the streets with their tracting equipment, whatever vehicles, and they're protesting over there too.
mm, mm. Yeah.
So it's everywhere, man. It's
Yep.
everywhere. There's nowhere in this world is anybody at peace. Nowhere in
Mm-hmm.
this world anybody is comfortable or at rest with their current system or their current government, man. And
Con.
that's why the Lord, when Yahweh Shai returns, the scripture tells you that He's gonna put the government on His side. It's only gonna be one government, and it's gonna be by way of
Mm-hmm.
his order, man. And that's gonna be throughout the whole world, and that's how you're gonna have the righteous vibration throughout the earth. Because these heathens are ought to be underneath a subjection.
That's right.
Because clearly these heathens are not
Mm-hmm.
equipped, especially Esau. These heathens are not equipped to be in a position of authority, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. Hey, and like there's a little shot here about the what you were mentioning. It says Dutch farmers clog roads with tractors and machinery over climate change blame. So like I said, now and they listen. It's not like you said. It's not like some simple little couple of marches and holding banners up. These people are actually going in, man. They're setting things on fire. Okay,
People
they're
are dying.
people. Yeah, people are dying. Now you also have Iraq. Okay, which you had people also actually literally dying there in the protests. So that makes it 11. You had Haiti. All right, which makes it 12. Okay, and I'm pretty sure you have a whole. I also heard something about Russia. So it's a spirit that's happening all around the world. It's spreading like wildfire. Okay,
God,
and then the main place that is gonna hit hard is where Babylon, man.
that's right. That's right. Hey, I got a quick precept. The book
Con.
of Habakkuk or Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse. I start at the top. I will
Mm-hmm.
stand upon my watch, and I will set me upon the tower, and
Mm-hmm.
will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what
Mm-hmm.
I shall answer when I am reproved. And that's what we're doing right now. Okay, this is how the Lord is speaking through his prophecies, and we're watching. He set us upon a watchtower. Is that Isaiah 62? I've
Mm-hmm.
set man
Yep.
upon the tower. Okay,
Yep.
so the Lord set us up to watch these things, man. Because even though you got so-called truthers that are watching these things as well, but they're not watchmen of Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, they're seeing these things, but then they're trying to give you a cardinal ways to escape these things, and there is no cardinal way to escape the wrath of Yahweh Bashim Shai, because all these things right here are set up through the Spirit for judgment. So you can't escape judgment carnally. Only way you're going to be able to escape judgment, as the scripture tells you, by your works and by your faith, you may be able to escape the perils. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So we're watching these things. Verse 2, it says, "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that readeth it." And that's what we're doing. We're seeing a vision, all right? We're the visions of the angels, okay? Reading it with the understanding through the Holy Spirit, the Rakak Wadash. And when we read it, we run to go tell the news. Like a carrier, a news carrier, they're
Mm-hmm.
basically back in the day, they would go run from house to house to spread the news, the newspapers. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
we're doing through the spirit, through the internet and going on highways and byways. We're the spiritual news carriers, man. And
Right.
we're reading it, and then we're running, from house to house through the internet, and we're spreading out the news of what? Of the Lord's judgment that is upon this place, the prophecies.
That's
Verse
right.
um verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. All right. So the vision is for an appointed time. And what is the appointed time? Right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, the Lord in book of I believe it's second Esdras, the Lord told Esdras that everything is measured by measured, and time by time. So the
Gone.
Lord does things during specific time frames. Even though the Lord isn't dwelling in time, He set up prophecies that happen during specific time frames, and those time frames let us know the departing asunder, end of it that follow it. Getting to know and seeing all
Mm-hmm.
these things, man, because we know that what this
Yep.
age is about to be over. You got it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Beautifully said, man. Now, real quick, one of the brothers, the kingdom is within. Yeah, put it in the chat. It says PG&E shut down again today, over 800,000. All right, which is Pacific Gas and Electric. Now, it says here that they cut off power for several days, and they're doing this to avert wildfires in California.
Mhm.
All right, but for how long do you think people are gonna want to keep going through that of constant power outages? Because let's say you
Yep.
have products in your fridge, what happens? You constant power outages, they start getting messed up. Okay, your electronics might start getting messed up. Okay, you know what I mean? Here
Hey,
you doing this, and then boom. Because I remember in Ghana we had those, and it was very very annoying. You know, so like
uh-huh.
it used to vex you. Like, yo, you're ruining
Yep.
my items, and this is not cool. You just gonna say
Hey, and
something?
even that, yeah, because you said that you had those in Ghana, and that's something that they were accustomed to. I'm sure like that was something that happened frequently
Mm-hmm.
over there in Ghana.
Yep.
Over here in America, that's not something people are accustomed to. Remember, people in America are complacent because they are used to certain amenities and certain luxuries that they have never been accustomed to not having. Like, and why you think during Sandy, over here in the East Coast when the power went out, you had people rioting, people were looting, people were stealing, and because what, people weren't accustomed to not having power.
Mm-hmm.
So you got those happening over there in California. You said it said over 800,000 people.
Yep.
Look, man, hey, it doesn't take that many people to get fed up. And once again, the Lord is putting the spirit on, get quickly agitated. People are not becoming patient. People are
Right.
not being able to endure these things. And that's the difference between the man of the Lord
Mm-hmm.
and these other people in this world. We through this truth, we have built up patience. So when stuff like this happens, even in our everyday lives, we are patient, and we have the ability to endure certain trials and tribulations. These people don't have that ability. They're just going to just wilding out. Hey, and there's no marvel that Esau put out these different because he uses his media to put certain images or certain ideas in people's heads. So you had the movie The Purge come out, and now you got the TV show
Mm-hmm.
that's out,
Mm-hmm.
and people are already going to be like, you know what? We should start doing that because it's already in their mind. They're watching these things. That picture is already in their mind. So now when the lights go out, that's
Gone.
what they're going to automatically avert to. Like, yo, let's just start doing this shit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
got it.
Hey, I was it's the spirit you mentioned that I was talking about this with Haran yesterday about the purge. Now there was a movie. The one of them was what purge election year, and then everybody thought they were showing the symbolism of Trump and who was it, Hillary or whatever, or some other lady, and everybody thought it was gonna be then 2016. But when you look at it, man, look at what's going on in the political world right now as they're trying to impeach him. Okay, and they're
Ah,
saying
yep.
regardless one way or the other, it's going to cause a divide. Civil unrest, because whether he goes out or he stays in, you're going to have people or divided on each side. Okay, so hey, well, we'll see how that goes, man. With all this chaos breaking loose, man, the Lord is definitely speeding these prophecies up. But
God.
I'm gonna continue in this article. It says protests can break out over a relatively minor issue before spiraling into national crisis. All right. Remind you, we're still in a national emergency now. Those power outages, that's not a minor issue, man. All right, that is not a
Yep.
minor issue. It says French President Emmanuel Macron learned this the hard way last November when demonstrations over a fuel tax hike turned into a nationwide rejection of his corporate-friendly policies. Likewise, Lebanon's WhatsApp tax was simply the final straw for protesters who have now called for the downfall of the regime, following years of perceived government ineptitude. And also, you have Apostle Tahar did a video on it. You have the meter that when you pay for it now, the time that it gives you, all right, is now less and less. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
some meters are car specific. You have to put your license plate in there, and so you can't even give your ticket to somebody else afterwards because they will check the license plate on the ticket to see if that's what matches the car. You know,
Yep. Yep.
it says and while Chilean students kicked off the fare hike protests earlier this month, violent anti-government riots have since broke out with at least 8 people killed in arson and looting attacks, and the military were called out to enforce a curfew. Okay. Now, when all these things are put in place, curfews and all these different mandates, and people don't follow it, guess what? They have to take it to the next level. Okay. Because now they're saying, look, there's too much chaos breaking loose around the world. These governments don't have people in check. All right, so we need to start doing something, especially when it gets crazy in America. They're gonna need to have to set a precedent. Okay, and so yeah, there will
Ah,
be chaos. Chaos will break loose for a period of time, but they're then gonna try to bring it in order with that martial law. Okay, and don't be
yep.
surprised look, man, it's gonna get bad because in order to be able to declare martial law, it has to be really really bad. You have to have a good reason to actually put that martial like or that warlike law into place. So they're gonna
Yeah.
allow it. You was gonna
Yeah.
say?
Hey, if people don't forget, real quick, that hey, during the September 11th to 9/11, they introduced the Patriot Act where they can detain
Mm-hmm.
any citizen. Basically, a citizen can be deemed a domestic terrorist just
Yep.
because. So they already have these certain laws and bylaws in place. So for when this shit that's happening right now, the appointed time of clamping down on the citizens, you ain't gonna be able to scream out, "Oh, I'm an American citizen. You can't do this to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have my rights." They gonna be like, "What rights you talking about?" Boom, here's the
Yep.
law. A domestic terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be called a domestic terrorist for anything, man. So
Mm-hmm.
don't try to think that, oh, well, that would never happen here because we're citizens of America. Look, man, these devils are crafty in their council, man.
God.
In their devices. They have crafty devices for against you against these people, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the only way that you're gonna be able to escape it is through Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. There's not gonna be anything else you can do.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And the brother put on the comment. He said, "Khan, they got the holidays coming up, so the PG&E shutoff may cause riots around this time." Yeah, and also with prices going up, it's gonna be hard to buy things. Okay, don't forget this whole tariffs back and forth with China. It's causing prices to go up. Okay, so it's the Lord is putting the pieces together and kicking it off because all these things happening at once, you're not gonna. It's gonna be too much. It's gonna. And America has the most psychotic people, man. Okay, so just
Yep.
get them to that breaking point, and you're gonna see some real demons out here, man. Straight up demons. All right. It says
I got a
here
quick.
it's contagious.
But
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Now I had a quick precept because you says all at once. Proverbs 1, verse 26. It says, um, I will also laugh at your calamities. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall you call upon me, but I will not answer. You shall seek me
Hmm.
early, but you shall not find me.
That's right. That's right. Beautiful precept, like it says, like a whirlwind. Okay. So just imagine you being in the center of that, and there's literally, oh, it tells you that in Amos, you as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, and then he went to the house and a snake bit him. So there's gonna be calamities, death, chaos, literally around you on every side. Okay. And
God.
what are you
Yep.
gonna do then?
Hey, and it says it says when your fear cometh upon you, because hey,
Hmm.
darkness is a fear. That's one of the plagues that the
Yeah.
Lord used during Egypt. So when you got power outages, when it gets night out, hey, it's gonna be complete darkness, man.
Hmm.
Especially now during this winter time. And the Lord said,
Mm.
"Pray not your flight be in the winter." See, hey, the
God.
Lord bad, man. The Lord is bad. Because
Oh man.
you got more darkness on the earth, during the winter time, man.
Hmm.
So, hey, the people are going to fear during that time. They're going to fear not being able to, just have your everyday conveniences. Once again, here in America, like I said, people are psychotic and they're also childish. They're very short tempered. So when
Hmm.
something like this, when something happens that disrupts the status quo, they become enraged. They become enraged.
Yeah.
So that's what's about to start happening on a wide scale. It's already happening throughout the world as we're going into. But once it hits
Hmm.
Babylon, people are going to bug the hell out, man. It's going to be crazy
Oh,
there.
yep, yep. Hey, like you said, in the winter, if your heater, it takes what? Electricity, man. Okay, whether it's I got a heater here, you got to plug it in. So in this brick and it's freezing out, and your bed sheets and comforters and keeping you warm, what you gonna do, man? People here, even in my building, they get upset when the heater's not on, or when it's on but it's too low. They're looking for the super, like they want his head. So what? Look, man, what do you think these people are gonna do? All
Yep.
right. It says it's contagious. So why has unrest seemingly erupted all over the world at once? According to University of Arizona study, protest is contagious. The study's authors found that violent domestic conflicts spread between countries via spillover effects and the desire to emulate events abroad. Like sort of like monkey see, monkey do, because you seeing protests over here, you're seeing your conditions. You're like, well, these conditions aren't good. Guess what? We're gonna protest too, because it's a spirit. You know, it's a spirit that is like fire. You know, but it's the kind of fire
Uh,
that you just seeing it, it'll spread. You know. Let me see. It says nonviolent movements too spread across the border in a similar fashion, with the researchers noting that observation of collective action abroad inspires would be protests at home. All right. Let me see if it has any more uh good points on here. Okay, it has one here. It says a minefield. It says dealing with mass unrest is a minefield for governments, though the respective governments of Lebanon, Chile, Ecuador, and Hong Kong have all canceled the measures that enraged the public in the first place. Protests have only intensified. Okay, only intensified. So here it is. You good?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So here it is. It says they canceled what caused the protest, but what did it do? It only intensified the protest. So now, what's your solution? You know, you thought maybe if we withdraw it, we could control it, but now it's out of your hands. You know.
God.
Oh shoot, man. Oh boy. It says this presents decision makers with a dilemma: signal weakness by doing nothing, or inflame tension further with a police crackdown. So now
Mm.
they're in there stuck. They're like, oh boy, because if we let them do what they want, they're gonna tear down the city. But if we don't do anything, but if we do bring the police and that law, it's gonna increase tensions further. You know. So now they're stuck in
Facts.
between. But even the decision to not do anything is gonna only cause protests to get worse. So now they're forced to do something.
Yep. Hey, that's what they said about the whole impeachment with Trump. They said if they don't impeach Trump, the
Mm,
Democrats, the so-called Dems, are going to, they're going to bug out and they're going to wild out, because you got a whole bunch of people, Jake, and even even heathens that don't want Trump in office, and then you got the
mm-hmm,
Republicans, which are majority of Edomites. They're saying that if Trump does get impeached, then they're going to wild out and they're going to take to the streets. So, hey, man, Satan house being divided to a T, man. You can't.
that's
There's no
right.
way to escape. There's no way to escape what's already written. That's to happen in this current age.
Mm-hmm.
I got a quick precept. Quick precept.
God.
Second Esdras 15. Second Esdras 15 verse 14. Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. You see, that's what's drawing nigh to this place, man. The destruction of this world and the people that are dwelling, in this world mentally, man. That's why the Lord told us, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." So we're not dwelling in this world mentally. We're in this world physically, but as Yahweh Shai said, they're not of this world, even as I'm not of this world. So the
Mm-hmm.
destruction is not going to come nigh to us. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna come nigh to thee, okay, but it won't come nigh to us, man, because we're not dwelling in the mindset of this world. We're looking for this place to go down just as much as Yahweh Shai, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it says one people shall stand up and fight against another, race riots, civil riots, civil unrest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it says, and swords in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to be regarding their governments, man. And that's why the majority of these protests are happening, is
Mm-hmm.
because people are not regarding their governments, their leaders.
That's right. That's right. Hey, beautifully said. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit more in this. It says, former Madison, Wisconsin Police Chief David Cooper literally wrote the book on handling protests. In Arrested Development, Cooper wrote that he would instruct his officers to get in close, talk, stay in contact with demonstrators, as he found that the further the police positioned themselves from the people in the crowd, the greater the chance the crowd would depersonalize them. Similarly, former Washington, D.C. Police Chief Jerry Wilson told Arthur Radley Balco that he would hide his riot control teams away in buses until needed, as the mere presence of heavily armed cops didn't prevent confrontation, it invited it. Okay, and I remember they had troops in Chicago like a couple years ago. All right, they had UN trucks and all of that, and it's as though they just went incognito, you know. But why did just recently did they come out and allow the make the military active or so to be able to take control on American soil in fear of civil unrest? Okay, because they know what's about to go down. All right, and they're preparing.
Yep.
Okay, but let me see. Uh, okay. I'm gonna read this part here. It says, while the state cannot allow destruction and looting, a heavy-handed crackdown can backfire, as happened in France when images of wounded and maimed protesters gave the yellow vests a new issue to rally around and mired the government and police forces in legal action. So now, what do you think they're gonna do if they're saying, "Look, we can't just allow them to go crazy"? But if we try to go at them, they're gonna get even more pissed. Now we got to start rounding them up and throwing them in FEMA camps. And on top of that, look, if you think you're about to protest even more because of us bringing out the cops, how about we just start shooting people and putting people down? See, at that point, then you start to put fear in them and you start to kill that rebellious spirit. Because now they're like, all right, hold up, time out, hold up. Because right now, yeah, they're going crazy, but the cops are not using deadly force. They're not using actual lethal weapons. So when they start doing that and they start rounding people up and throwing them in FEMA camps, guess what? These people are you're gonna have a lot of people. Yeah, you'll have some that'll still fight back, but you'll have others that are actually gonna be scared and submissive. Okay. Um,
God,
I think yeah. So I got one more paragraph, and then it's going to be over. Moreover, giving
God.
in to the protesters' demands is one thing, but it's another when rival groups of demonstrators demand clashing measures. While Dutch farmers are fuming at being labeled a climate change threat and punishing the new nitrogen emission regulations, Extinction Rebellion eco activists took to the streets of more than 70 cities worldwide, including Amsterdam, to demand more of precisely the same kind of regulations, up to a complete abolition of livestock farming. All right. Contagious, difficult to control, and often contradictory. The season of unrest gripping much of the world presents governments, even those that acquiesce to their citizens' demands, with few easy solutions. So
Mm.
they're gonna have to come up with something, and they're under
Yep.
that pressure, man.
Yep.
So yeah,
And that's what the scripture said. They're gonna be like madmen sparing none, because that's what it's
yeah.
gonna be. It's gonna be clamping down, shutting down police state, man. Like that movie
Mm-hmm.
that never came out, Great State. You had a
Yep.
movie that did come out called Captive State. So you got Great
Mm-hmm.
State, you got Captive State. And
Mm-hmm.
that's all Esau just showing you. This is what the plans are, man. The what is that? The Aurelian government, whatever. You know
Mm-hmm.
this. That's what it is, man. So, but the Lord said what that He's going to protect His saints, man, during that time. The
Gone.
ones that are watching, the ones that are looking for these things, paying attention. We're Lord willing, we're of that number. We're going to be worthy to escape these things, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, yeah, beautifully said. So, hey, scriptures say that he's gonna come down with great wrath, man, because he knows he has but a short time. He's like, I gotta do something because I can't let them just go crazy. So, hey, like the
God.
brother just said, man, through the Spirit, the Lord's gonna protect His elect, man. So, hey, that's it. We're gonna end it on that. Okay, Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. Brothers, got any last anything else you want to add?
Nah. Hey, Lord willing, we're getting to the other article, later
Yeah,
today, the
gone,
Ezekiel 38 one.
gone.
So hey, the Lord doing a lot of things, man. That's why we got to keep watching
Mm-hmm.
nonstop. Keep watching, keep praying. Keep paying attention, man, because this is how the Lord is showing us what time it is, and
That's
and
right.
we got to continue to be in the mindset of paying attention, so we don't, that day doesn't come upon us unawares, man.
That's right.
So, with that, we're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to
To
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
by
Yahweh
Shema,
Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. All right,
Shema,
Shalom to the elect, the hopeful elect, man. Stay strong.
Shalom.
Shalom.